Got my near and far up there, huh? Okay. Okay, here we are. That was a clip from the near and far. We're going to be showing some video from the events that are coming up this weekend in Schenectady. But I'm Ann Perillo, and you're watching Schenectady Today in and around the Capital Region. We have a great lineup today. We're going to be talking with representatives from WERC, W-E-R-C, which is Women's Employment and Resource Center. Then we'll be going over to Sand Lake to their Historical Society and find out about their who killed Hazel Drew, I believe it is, but it's kind of a playoff on the, what do I want to say, the Twin Peaks series. And then we're going to be going over to Schuyler Mansion and also Cralo, and Cralo is having a big event coming up, which is a Harvest Fair. Then we will be going over to Adwatakim and going to their Carrot Festival and finding out about the exciting things that will be going on that day. From there, we'll be going to Upper Union Street, and we will be looking at the 5K run, which is a scholarship run. And then we're going to wrap up the show with the Addy, which is the third floor of Proctor's, and find out what's going on there to make that a great performance area as well, and that's always exciting. Our breaks today are going to be the Stockade Art Show, and that will be this coming Saturday, and then this coming Saturday is the Italian Festival, and the Greek Festival starts on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and on Sunday is the Carrot Festival. I mean, there's just so much going on, and if you're sitting home not knowing what to do, I don't know what to say. So anyway, but we're going to start right out with WERC, and we have Beth Miller with us, and we have Patricia Blass here, and they are both with WERC and associated with it. Beth is the executive director. You have an awards banquet coming up. Tell me about that.
We do. We have a celebration on October 3rd at the Hilton Garden Inn in Troy.
That's a nice place.
Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah. It's wonderful. We'll have over 400 guests there to celebrate women's achievement in the workplace.
And what you do, just to tell people an overview of what you do, we'll talk more about the event, but and the awards and who's getting those awards. But what do? You help women re-enter the workforce, is that correct?
We do. We help women that have been transitioning back, that need to transition back into the workplace. They've been out of the workforce for a number of years. They're called displaced homemakers, according to grants and New York State government. They've lost their source of support due to separation, divorce, widow, single moms, or if they're married, their husband's not working. And we're also finding women who have left the workforce to take care of an elderly parent. We provide free career readiness training, computer literacy training, and then we network with over...
You do this all free?
We do. It's free for our students, and it's free for employers to network with us and find valuable employees that have a wonderful work ethic, are dedicated, determined, and ready to go to work.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And when you're having an awards banquet, who are you giving these awards to? I don't know who's working. Yeah, because I know you're working on the event.
Yeah, I'm working on the event, and I loved working on the event. We have 3 different awards, actually. We have the Harriet Rifkin Leadership Award, and that's being given to Kathleen McLean.
She's a wonderful speaker.
Okay.
I've heard her, and she's really great.
She's done so much for women.
And we have photos. I don't know if they'll bring up the photos. And and we'll kind of watch for them when they come up. We may have to talk about it. Go ahead.
She's done so much for women in the community, and she's mentored people. And Harriet Rifkin was one of the founding directors, and that's why this award is named after her.
These are not the winners.
These are our graduates.
Our graduates.
Okay. These are the graduating class.
The recent graduates.
We'll just interrupt and go look through the pictures here while they're up here now.
Yeah.
Well, Kathleen is a consultant.
There she is.
Kathleen, she's on the left.
Yes.
Yeah. She's a consultant for diversity and inclusion. And when you take a look at the women of WERC, the women that we've served, you see that there's a lot of diversity.
Okay, and who was the one in the middle? We've kind of lost that photo.
That's Jade Gibson.
Okay.
Yeah, and Jade Gibson owns her hair salon, Envy.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to, yes. And she's Jade's Hair Envy, and she's won the Working Woman of Achievement Award, and that's given to a woman who has overcome different issues in her life and has now been successful. And she not only has been a hairdresser, but she also mentors women. She helps them. She gives free haircuts. She helps women to look good, I guess, on the outside as well as on the inside.
Their self-esteem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're really pleased to give her the award.
Yeah.
So.
And who was the other?
And our third award is to Susan Taylor, and she is the manager of Great Finds. And
I met her at your
at our first
yeah.
impression,
Yeah.
second chances.
She's
We
great.
do a clothing drive for Great Finds. They are part of Equinox, and they help women in transition to receive free clothing. They provide vouchers for our women, and they receive free clothing for their first interview, their second interview, and their first day on the job.
Yeah, oh, that's great.
And
yeah.
her award is for advancing of women in the workplace, because she also provides retail training for the women that she works with that have a mental health diagnosis.
Oh, that's really
Yes. So she does
it's
retail
a contribution
training.
then to it. Yeah.
It gives back to the community, and it's helping women in the workplace.
Now, the event that you have coming up, is that going to, I mean, are there tickets for that, or how do you, how do people
Yes.
sign up?
Yeah, there are. We have sponsors. We have many companies in the area that have become sponsors. Yeah, it's on our invitation. It's
Yep.
on our website. You can see all of the companies that are sponsors for the event. And with sponsorship, they get tickets to attend the event, and then the public is it's open to the public.
Yes.
And we urge anyone that's at all interested in learning more about work, or just to celebrate these women, if they know them or have had interaction with these people, they may want to purchase a ticket. And everything is
To
online.
support the organization.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
really.
a wonderful event.
So it's open to anyone. So
Yep.
if they're watching and they think, I'd like to learn more about this organization and I'd like to support it, because
Yeah.
I know that, especially if you're an employer, you might want to really check it out and
Yeah.
find out more about it.
Yeah.
And this is going to be on Tuesday, October the 3rd. Is that correct?
Yes, October 3rd. It's
Yeah.
11 to 12 is networking, and then 12 to 1:30 is our program. And it's a wonderful opportunity to meet our graduates, because we have many sponsors that donate their tickets, so our women can go to the event as well.
Nice. And you have raffle tickets too that you
We have raffle
Oh, yeah.
tickets, yeah, raffle tickets. They are $5 a piece,
Okay.
or a book of 10 for 40, and this money goes right back into the program. The prizes have all been donated, and many of our key sponsors, like KeyBank is our title sponsor, Spiral Design, Donna Snyder with Snyder Printing. They make donations so that the money that we make from the event goes right back into our program.
That's wonderful. Well, if you want to support this organization and maybe learn more about it, I would suggest that you go to their website. It's a very good website because it has photographs and you have all kinds of information about what you do to help women, and it's an amazing organization. It is amazing. Did I say amazing? It's an amazing organization because it's a way for women who feel maybe that they don't have any other options in their life. They feel beaten down maybe, and know now that wait, there is a path.
Yeah. You have an anniversary coming up, and so do we. We're going to be celebrating 30 years of
You
helping
too?
women
Yes.
in the capital
my
region
gosh.
in 2018.
Yeah.
We've served more than 7,000 women in that time, and we're
Can I
working
say-
on 8,000.
Can I say that's amazing?
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, my anniversary is coming up on the 19th of September, and that's going to be, we're going into our 20th year. So that's, we're working towards these numbers, aren't
Yeah.
we?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
yep.
you both
Yeah.
for being here.
Thank
Thank
you.
I
you
hope
for
you have a
having
great
us.
turnout and you're able to keep that money rolling in so you can help more and more women. And 8,000, huh? Well, that could happen.
Yeah.
We're working on 8,000.
That
Yeah.
will happen.
Yeah.
If you, what is it, if you build it, it will come, one of those things. Well, you're doing it. Good.
Thank you, Ann.
We're
With
gonna
your
take-
help, we do
Thank you.
it.
We're going to take a quick break, and our break, we will, I'm not sure, I think we're going to be looking at the art show, and then we're going to Sand Lake Historical, and we'll be talking to them about an event that's coming up. Stay tuned. Okay.
Thank you.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
We better expect, a knock on the door. Queen's Medical School.
Ann, how are you? I should go. Well, and I need to fly, run.
pretty interesting. Wonderful. I mean,
Well, we're talking about the Sand Lake Historical Societies. Who killed Hazel Drew? Who is Hazel Drew? Next to me I have Joan Fees, and next to her I have a filmmaker, John Hoser, and you are a filmmaker, documentaries or what?
Documentary, corporate advertising,
whatever
but right
catches
now I'm
your
a
eye.
documentary filmmaker,
Okay,
absolutely.
I love filmmakers. So anyway, you know, we've got a lot of good filmmakers in the area,
We
and
do.
a lot of local films coming up. One coming up at Proctor's this coming Thursday, I think. Coming up. Yeah, and filmed locally, and supposed to be a good movie. So anyway, many movies are good, and some aren't so.
So Hazel Drew was a 20-year-old servant girl, and she was found in a pond, body decomposing, and she had been hit on the head. And
But
it
where?
was
Where did this-
1908,
Where?
Teal Pond, which would be between Sand Lake and
Oh,
Takerton.
local.
Oh,
Yeah, local.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
But in 1908, it made national headlines.
course, of
It
course.
was incredible, because at that point, we were known as the Coney Island of the North, because you had all the major big hotels.
Sure.
You had the trolley
Yeah.
that was coming in from Troy.
Yeah.
So the tie to Twin Peaks is that that particular murder inspired Twin Peaks.
Is that
and Twin
right?
Peaks started in the 90s and is now
Second, or the third season.
third
Okay,
season.
I got to catch it. I got
2017.
to find out what it's about.
It's a little bit out there. David Lynch is the director, so
Okay.
it
Oh
kind
my
of,
goodness, yeah.
So it's an art experiment in
So
some ways.
what? So you made a documentary. What on what?
Well, we're in the process of making a documentary, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
So it's a documentary that looks at, we're doing reenactments and we're looking at the murder, and there's so many unanswered questions. I mean,
About Hazel.
About Hazel. About Hazel. Hazel was originally from Sand Lake. She was a farm girl. She moved to Troy at the age of 14 to become a domestic servant. She became a governess for Professor Carey, who was at RPI.
You got a lot of information. Where'd you get it all?
Oh, been making a
Lots of-
documentary, you
lots
got
of-
to
yeah,
get the
lots of
facts
research.
right,
Right,
and then you
yeah.
go off into fiction a little
No,
bit.
no, I know, yeah.
But the thing about Hazel was the last 3 to 6 months of her life, she started to make changes. She's living beyond her means. She's buying fancy clothes. She's traveling to New York.
Something's going
She's
on.
letting go of friends. And one of the big mysteries is how she quits her job on July 6th, the Monday morning, with no notice, and then she ends up disappearing that night, and the next time she's seen is on Taborton Road in Sand Lake, New York, by at least 4 people. Then the next time she's seen is dead, face down in the pond.
And there are 20 suspects, and it was never solved.
This is like that movie with what Montgomery Clift, with what is it, the American Tragedy?
I'm a little bit familiar with
Yeah,
it.
well, I mean, and that was the same thing. I mean, he did her in, you know, because she was pregnant.
Well, that's
Yeah.
one of the theories. But Mark Frost, one of the things that was so interesting to Mark Frost, who's co-creator of Twin Peaks, was the unanswered questions, all the suspects that Joan picks up. And Mark actually first heard about this as a ghost story from his grandmother.
Really? Oh my.
And so there's a lot of depth into this story, and the complexities of Hazel's life translate into those who know Twin Peaks, the main character Laura Palmer, who also led a double life. So the inspiration, and even I think some of the the local characters of the times, some say that they made their way in. A hermit that lived up in the sawmill, and so there's a lot of
Speculation.
There's a lot of speculation, but there's also a lot of beauty in the fact that we're looking at the power of Troy from the late 1800s, a girl who was naive and absolutely gorgeous, and then the Coney Island,
Now you brought a video. You brought a video too, yeah.
Yes.
So can we pull up the video at all? We can try. We're going
There
to
you
try.
go. We'll give it our best
Okay,
shot.
We're
let
gonna
me
give it the
say
old
that
college try.
our town historian, Bob Moore, began his job and found a whole wealth of information. So since then, we have T-shirts, we have 2 books that are being written. Twin Peaks has been revived.
Okay. They couldn't pull it up. Okay.
There's a play that's been written, just more and more things. And then one of the authors, David Bushman, he wrote Twin Peaks FAQ, frequently asked questions, all that's left to know about a place both wonderful and strange. And so we're having he's coming to speak, and John's going to be showing his
That is
preview.
I'm sorry that we can't show it.
That's all right.
We're working with a laptop. And of
Come
course
to the event and you'll get to
Yeah,
see
you'll
it.
get to see it at the event. But when is that
It's
event?
September 12th
Okay.
at 7 o'clock. And because we
At Sand Lake Center of the Arts.
if we're at Sand Lake Center for the Arts, yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And any charge for that, or
No,
just
it's
come
going
and
to be
enjoy
free.
it?
Come and enjoy. So we anticipate there'll be residents who are interested. There'll be amateur detectives.
I was
who
going to
are
say, I'd be in there
interested,
trying to figure that one out. Who did
as
it?
well as
Who done it?
fans of Twin Peaks. Bob keeps hearing from the Daily News in the United
Yeah.
Kingdom.
Oh, from the UK?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
They're interested in this.
Oh, yes.
The UK, the Daily Mail, when the first article they did, they had 6,500 shares. Now, when you look at that from social media terms, Kim Kardashian the same week had something that went 1,000 shares. So 6,500 compared to 1,000.
Yeah.
The Twin Peaks audience is just hungry.
Who's that, Kim Kardashian?
Kim
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Beyond my expertise.
Pulling your leg.
But if you do want to find more out about the murder stuff too, there's a Facebook page called WhoKilledHazelDrew.com.
I am going to check
And there's
because I
pictures and
love a
stuff.
mystery.
Yeah.
Oh, I love a mystery, and I love research. So I can't imagine what fun it must have been for you. And I know people say, "Oh, research, that's a lot of work," but it's fun because
Oh,
you
it
grab a thread and you start seeing where that's going, and you go to the next
I
one.
know.
And this is your book.
This is the
This is the story.
second book.
Okay, this is Ron Hughes.
He's coming in the spring to speak. I had an opportunity.
Look at this, all this. Look
to
at
go
all this
through
on
it,
that
and
one murder.
It
Oh.
Great
tells,
book.
It tells all about the incident itself and the investigation, and then goes into all the theories of what may have happened.
Well, isn't it sort of like Jack the Ripper? We're still trying to figure out, was that really a doctor that did this, or what, or who?
Well, the
Who was
interesting-
on Chapel Street? What's going on?
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things that, Mark talks about too, and they do in Twin Peaks is the human brain wants to close the loop. You bring up a problem and we want to solve it. And that's really, when I interviewed Ron for the documentary, one of the things that became clear is that this is a cold case. A cold case
But
really builds on
you
that.
You can solve cold cases sometimes.
Well, somebody
With DNA,
somewhere,
of course, it's
Know
probably not.
something.
or they have a picture in their attic. And that's the thing that's been happening is we're getting some of the relatives actually reaching out.
But
I know
this
you
is
said
why you're the Sam Lake
Yeah.
Historical Society.
Of course.
You got a really good piece here to work
Oh,
on.
yes,
Yeah.
most definitely.
Well, we want to encourage people to come. We're almost out of time, but we want to.
And one other mystery
Yeah.
that's happening at Sand Lake Center for the Arts, as you know, is In the Heat of the Night. And
Patrick's going to be on the show to
Patrick's
talk
gonna
about
be a
that.
show in a couple
I
weeks.
love that play, don't you?
Yeah.
It's such a great play. They call me Mr. Timpson. Is that the line?
Yes.
Yeah. Good. We're having Patrick coming on, but I do want to remind you that you can go to this. If this hasn't piqued your interest about who killed Hazel Drew, I suggest that you go on September the 12th at 7 p.m. at the Sand Lake Center for the Arts. You'll hear people that frequently ask questions about Twin Peaks, that kind of bit. We're going to hear about the book. We'll see the documentary. This is going to be a cool night.
Yes, it
We're going to have
is.
a great
Definitely.
time. All you amateur detectives, get
on
out there
out.
and check it out. So nice to meet you.
Nice meeting
yeah,
you too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
it was fun.
And I'm Ann Pearl. You're watching Schenectady Today in and around the Capital Region. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to take a look at the Italian Festival, if we can. And then we're going to go over to Cralo and find out about their upcoming Harvest Fair, which is going to be cool.
Okay.
Good. Stay tuned.
We're out.
See if we can get this straight, 'cause I want him, and you know I gotta have him. I'll just ask, is you is or is you ain't my baby? The way you're acting lately all makes me doubt. You is still my baby, baby. But it seems the flame in your heart had done gone out. A man is a creature that has always been strange. Just when you were so warm, you will find he's gone and made a change. Well, is you is, or is you ain't my baby.
That was the Italian festival. Oh my gosh, that's going to be a party and a half when you go to that. But right now we're going to the Schuyler Mansion. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about Craylo. You hear termed as Fort Craylo. Is that the same?
It is. It was a family home, the Van Rensselaer's home, but it was a fortified block house, a place where people could go in times of trouble.
Okay, good.
Sure.
But these are both state historic sites, and right now we have the site manager with us, which is wonderful. Heidi Hill is with us, and we're going to find out about, maybe we'll talk a little bit about the Schuyler Mansion and a little bit about Craylo, and find out what's going on at their Harvest Fair. Right?
Okay.
Let's go.
Which would you like to start with?
Let's talk, because we're going to be ending up with Craylo. Let's talk about the Schuyler Mansion.
Sure.
Well, when was that built?
It was built in the 1760s when New York was still a British colony. So it's about 265 years old, and it's still looking good. And in 1917, it was open to the public. So guess what? We have an anniversary as well.
Everybody's getting anniversary. This is good. Let's talk about it.
Yes. So this is our 100th anniversary of being open to the public. And we are celebrating not only that, but also Hamilton the musical.
I know, isn't that funny that we are able to just enjoy the history on Broadway. I mean, who would have thought that if somebody told me 10 years ago, we're going to think about doing a musical called Hamilton. It'll be about Alexander or the Hamilton.
Right.
And I said, nah, that will never go, right?
Right.
But
Well,
sure
it's been a boon for us, really.
Yeah.
You know, we used to get about 6,000 people a year, and July and August were always very busy for us. But last year, July and August, we tripled our attendance over anything that we'd ever done. And this year, we've doubled that triple. So.
And it's basically, we're getting to think more about history. And I mean, like our last segment, talking about a mystery of history. But this is really history where, you know, we know the beginning, the ending, and the middle.
Right.
Of it, so to
and
speak.
We're seeing visitors who have really would never have come to our museum before this.
Now, is a museum in the Schuyler Mansion? It's a museum, or is it like a, you know, walking in through the White House?
It's a historic home for sure, but we do have a museum exhibit in our visitor center, and it's a brand new one to celebrate our 100 years of being open. And we have all sorts of new restoration projects to debut for people who come and visit now. We have new wallpaper, which is, it just makes the place so grand now.
And I'm sure the wallpaper was researched.
Oh yes, we know.
Because it has to be period, you know, in that period and stuff. And they have companies that actually will make this wallpaper to me.
Well, we made it, actually.
You made it?
I didn't myself.
My goodness,
people
what
at
talented
People's Island,
People's
Island Resource Center did that. We were going to have it printed by a local print shop, but the expense was going to be, you know, really budget breaking. So. Someone, a state worker in historic preservation, said, you know, I think we can do this ourselves. And, you know, instead of $25,000, it cost $5,000 just for the materials.
But what a great project. What a wonderful thing. And not only that, but you get people to work together, and it's kind of a cementing, or, you know, that kind of a glue that holds together people in a historic
and it's place. Kind of that get the job done attitude, and you just love working with people like that. Yeah. So,
but let's talk now. We'll transition over to Craylo, because that is talk about the Fort Craylow. I guess we'll call it
Sure.
Fort Craylow. And also your Harvest Fest, which is fair, which is going to be held. And we have a date on that. That's going to be on September the 16th. But you also have stuff going on at Schuyler, so how would you like to?
Well, Craylow is the Museum of the Colonial Dutch in the Hudson River Valley. So we are the one place where you can come and really get an overview of this colony in the 17th century, before the British took over in 1664. And it's such a rich story that I think so many in our area are unfamiliar with because it's so long ago, 350 years ago. And we do a nice job, I think, at the overview. Space is a premium. So now what we've done since 2009 with our overview exhibit is really focus on some of the in-depth stories that we can tell. So right now we're featuring the women of New Netherland.
Oh,
and
nice, nice.
We're doing a first-person tour that features that. We also worked with Yale University and the Gilder Learman Center for the Study of Slavery.
Oh, I'm not too familiar with that.
Resistance and Abolition, and got a grant from them to study with them. And we developed an exhibit on slavery under the Dutch in the 17th century.
And the Dutch were slavers. I mean, they were probably one of the biggest transporters of
They
slaves.
certainly were, and they had their market in Curacao.
Oh my God.
And they dealt with so many different European powers.
Yeah.
So it was a big deal, and a number of those enslaved people made their way here to New Netherland as well, primarily in New Amsterdam, but the Van Rensselaers surely owned people as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a part of the history that is even more little known. So we try to highlight that, and it's been a really successful, well-attended exhibit that now will travel.
Oh,
So
well, that's wonderful because you've curated it so well that it can travel.
In 2018.
But you're having a fair.
Yes.
I saw the photos of the crafts that you have there. What exactly are
We
you
have
bringing?
an annual event that brings 17th century reenactors and craftspeople to Craylow, and we have a park right on the river.
Is
so
that's
it's
there?
Yeah, it's a beautiful setting, and it's in Rensselaer. It's in a sort of a little hidden neighborhood that not too many people know about.
Well, they will know now.
Yeah, and so we generally see, a few hundred people that come to the
Nice.
event.
And it's a free event.
It is. We have music, we have entertainment, we have the crafts that you can enjoy watching, and some of the vendors do sell as well.
Yeah, and they should be able to do that. Or they put out, they put all this energy into it.
And it's free.
And it's a free event. And and I will be listing that on my free events page
great.
that I normally put out there. So you will have it. So let's talk. It's Saturday, September the 16th. You have a rain date of the 17th, but it's not going to rain.
No, and if it drizzles, we still go with the regular
You still go with
date,
it.
but-
And you have also an event coming up at Schuyler, I think, don't you?
Yes, on September 21st at 5:30, Philip Lord, who's an expert in the early canal history, will be talking about the Inland Navigational Canal Company that Schuyler headed in the 18th century. So
there was a canal system back then.
There was a successful canal for 25 years run by a board, and Schuyler was the president of that board, and it went all the way to the Great Lakes. So
Well,
they're the ones who dug the first ditch.
Is that, well, see, I learned something today, didn't I? But I'm sure I could learn a lot more if I entered the reception area of the Schuyler Mansion, where they have their museum, and also to take a tour of that. And how are you open all winter, or just the?
Well, we're open Wednesday through Sunday through the end of October, and then we're open on a couple days a week for the Hamilton tours.
Okay, yeah, the Hamilton, we got to get those.
Right,
And Hamilton is coming to Proctor's.
I know.
Boy, I don't
Gotta get my
know. That's going to
tickets.
be in 2019, is it? Or
I think
2018?
So.
I'm
The
not sure.
2018-19
Yeah,
season.
season. So that's going to be, and you can't get tickets unless you're a subscriber right now.
Yeah.
Who knows? Get your tickets.
subscribe.
Figure out how to do that, because everybody's going to want to see that. I know that. Thanks so much for being here.
Sure.
It's been a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
And I'd like to get down there and check that out. I've
Please
never
do.
been there. So
Please
I'm
do.
learning so much. Hazel Drew, Hamilton, I mean, so much. Don't we live in a rich area? We're going to take a quick break, talk about a rich area, and we're going to take another look at the festival. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about rich things. That might be the carrot cake, but we're going to talk about the Carrot Festival. Stay tuned. We're out. Okay, great.
Somebody new. Oh, yes, my baby. Yeah. Is he still my baby true? Come on. It's a creature that has always been strange. Just when he was so young, you will find he's gone, gone and made her sing. Well, is you is, or you ain't my baby. Maybe my baby's found somebody new. I hope not, 'cause I hope my baby's still my baby true.
And that was the Italian Festival. We're here to talk about the Carrot Festival. I wish I'd have had some video to show of that. Actually, I think we did take some video of that one year. I have to find that. The Carrot Festival is always a great event to go to. We have Ken Carpenter next to me. He is the president of Aduatakim. Next to him is Hillary Fink. She is the planner. You do it all?
The chair.
I can't believe what you do. And then we have Scott Baker down at the end, and you've written a book, and we're going to be talking about that as well.
Yes.
Yeah, get a lot into the show, don't we? Let's start out. The Westheimers were originally,
Correct.
were they, did I get the name right?
Yes,
This is coming
yes.
out of my back of my head
Yes.
somewhere. They kind of originally were involved with this, is that correct?
Right, yes.
Okay.
They had a carrot farm out in Schoharie.
Right.
And somehow the idea came up that they would donate the carrots and we could have a produce sale and we could make carrot cake and simmus and other products that come from carrots. And it just...
They never dreamt, right?
No, I don't think anybody did. It just took off from there, and so we're in the 39th year.
Isn't that amazing?
We're talking about anniversaries.
Yeah.
I'll just throw in that the congregation celebrating its 125th
Well, you have
anniversary
to come
this
on
year.
and let's talk about that.
Yeah,
We'll do that in another segment.
Yeah.
I'm going to call you.
Okay.
Yeah. Hillary, how much planning goes into this?
Close to a year's worth. Once we get through this year's festival,
You start right again.
We do. We'll have our wrap-up meeting, and then a couple of months later, we'll start talking about next year.
Well, you have to, there's a lot of planning because it's not just, oh, we're just having a festival and we'll just tell people to come. I mean, you're planning food, you're planning entertainment, you're planning things for the kids, you're planning vendors. I can't even imagine. I'm doing this 1,000th show and I am like over here, like buried. I can't imagine what you do.
It's a labor of love, and we have people that are in charge of the different segments of it, so it takes some of the work off of me. I just have to make sure it all
well,
happens.
somebody has to be at the top.
That's right.
Kind of saying, do. So, and you brought Scott Baker with you. Tell me about Scott. Scott, tell me about yourself, I guess I should say. You are a survivor, 4-time survivor.
Yes.
And you've written a book as well.
Yeah,
So tell us a little bit. How did you get involved with this?
Well, actually, Hillary was good enough to invite me to do a bone marrow drive and to sign some books. So she actually.
So you'll be at the festival.
I'll be at the festival.
Yeah.
She invited me a couple of years ago to do the first bone marrow drive that I ever did, and it was terrific. And I've done several since. Basically, I come and give people an opportunity to save a life, which to me is the most exciting thing you could do.
Yeah.
You get on the registry and you have a chance to save a life.
Yeah, my daughter had a bone marrow transplant, and it was difficult finding matches. So
Very,
I
very
imagine
difficult.
that was probably.
I was lucky enough to use my own cells twice.
Oh, you could, okay.
So I don't take that for granted. I want everybody to have the results that I've had, and so I go out and do the best I can and try to encourage people to get on that registry.
You go out to Dana-Farber for this?
I went to Sloan Kettering.
Sloan Kettering, okay.
For the second one, yeah.
Yeah. So you've written a book, and
Yep.
did you bring the book?
I did.
Yeah, why don't we hold it up, because I don't have a slide of it. And what is the name of it?
It's called No One Rises Alone.
Okay.
So it's a collection of stories of the people that came into my life when I desperately needed them to save my life, and what at the time they really didn't realize they were changing my life too. They made me see the world in a whole different way. I was in a situation where I desperately needed people every minute of the day to get through it. And that really changes the way you see the world when you desperately need people. They start looking different to you.
They do.
And
not only that, but they rise to a different level.
Absolutely.
Don't they? Because you know.
Everyone.
Yeah, everyone.
All people. And
yeah.
So I felt like I had a bunch of stories that I really wanted to share with people.
Yeah.
It's so perspective.
So glad that Hillary brought you here too. And so if people want to meet you and discuss perhaps some of the issues involved with blood diseases and bone marrow, they can certainly speak with you that day.
Absolutely. And they can register.
Okay, that's great.
Yep.
What does it take to register to be a bone marrow transplant?
To register, you fill out a form and you do a cheek swab.
Oh, that's all.
Very, very simple.
Yeah.
It's harmless. And in most cases, 70% of the time, it's IVs, 2 IVs, 1 in each arm. It's not like it sounds. It sounds worse than it is.
Yeah.
It's really quite simple in most cases. Sometimes if it's a child that has leukemia, you donate bone marrow. That is a small surgery. You're under anesthesia.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, you have a chance to save a child's life, you're probably going to take that chance.
Exactly, exactly. Well, Hillary, and how did you find out about Scott?
Scott and I go way back.
Okay, so you've known
I know
him a
him through
while,
his sons, but the reason for bringing Scott in is, in addition to all of the entertainment and the vendors and crafters and the food at the Carrot Festival, a big part of who we are is community service, or in the Hebrew words are tikkun olam, which is healing the world. And part of the festival, we have a community service tent where local nonprofit organizations come and they share the services that they provide with the community. It's an opportunity for them to promote themselves. So one of the things that we're able to do is the bone marrow registration drive as part of that.
That's wonderful. And now let's talk about the entertainment that you're going to have there, if you can remember.
We have a full day's, I hope I do. We have a full day's lineup of entertainment. Opening up the entertainment will be the house band from the School of Rock in Albany. So it's a band of kids, but they're fabulous. And then right after that, we have the Albany Drum Circle, which will be some interactive entertainment. They encourage people to bring their own drums, or they'll have some of their own that people can use as well. Following the Albany Drum Circle, we'll have our little opening ceremony. The theme of the festival is Remember, Honor, Celebrate, again, being so close to 9/11. So the festival will have a commemoration for the events that happened on 9/11. We'll also do a tribute to what's going on in Houston, and we'll also be celebrating our 125th anniversary.
It shows your commitment to our community and the community beyond where we live.
Correct.
Because we kind of get wrapped up in our own thing, and we talk about a festival, and oh yeah, we're gonna have a good time. But there has to be more meat to the festival, and the meat is what you're doing for the community, and to highlight bone diseases, which is blood diseases, which is incredible.
Yeah.
You've got a great team.
I do. I'm blessed with hardworking people.
Yeah, you are, and I know that I've always enjoyed coming to the Carrot Festival. What kind of food are you going to have? Are you a cook?
I'm not a cook,
Okay.
unless it's pastries. I'm okay with the pastries.
You have carrot cake.
Yes, carrot cake's the signature
You're going to have kugel?
item.
Kugel?
I don't think there's that much kugel, but
she's nodding her head yes, and you're saying no. I don't know, but I'm going to check it out.
I'm not in charge of the foods, which is a good thing. But no, brisket, which is always great,
God,
and simmus and other great products.
Always wonderful foods.
Yeah,
They're really good.
yeah.
I have a long time ago. I don't know, you or the Jewish Community Center had a cooking thing. And I bought a book that says, because I'm Italian, so it says an Italian Jewish cookbook. And he says, yes, he says, because there were so many Jews in Italy, you know, they had to have a kosher cookbook. It was great, great recipes in there too, so that's good. So we want to encourage people to go to the Carrot. You will not be disappointed going there, and it's a free event. You're going to have a great time. You get to meet Scott and find out more about those issues that he's had to deal with, and we're going to hear music and food. And they usually design it so you can take food home. I think
Yes.
they have.
Yes.
I know you do.
They'll have takeout.
Because I
Eat in
always
or
do
take
that.
out.
So, but we've been speaking with the president of Ottawa Team and Hillary Fink and Scott Baker, and you can meet them all right at that Carrot Festival. Stay tuned. Good.
Thank you.
I have to tell you.
It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. It's not unusual to have fun with anyone. But when I see you hanging about with anyone, it's not unusual to see me cry. I wanna die. It's not unusual to go out at any time. When I see you out and about, it's such a crime. If you should ever want to be loved by anyone, you'll find it happens all the time. Love will never do what you want it to. Why can't this crazy love be mine?
Not Upper Union Street for the Carrot Festival, but Upper Union Street Business Improvement District. They have a lot of great events, and we're going to be talking about your harvest event and your tree lighting coming up. But right now we're going to be talking about their 5K run, which is a fundraiser for scholarships. And tell us when it is, who can participate, and where does the scholarship money go?
Well, it's September 16th. It's early in the morning. The run takes off at 8:30, so you have to be there at least by 7:30.
And what day of the week
That's
is?
a Saturday morning.
Okay.
The same with a lot of other things,
Yeah.
evidently. But it goes through Central Park, and anyone can be part of it. You can go online. You can go to the Upper Union Street website, and
you pay to run.
You pay to run. That's how we raise the money for
Okay.
the scholarships.
Good. And you have sponsors?
We have about 30 sponsors. A lot of them the local businesses. Even one that comes to mind is our almost new business, the City Squire and Ale House.
They're going to be. They're building now, are they?
They're going to be open by Thanksgiving.
They will be open.
Yes, they will.
Now, they built a whole new building?
Yes, they took everything
down. Because I thought it
down.
was all torn down. And I mean, you have so much going on. You have that Brooklyn bread now.
Yes.
And Dunkin' Donuts moved across the street. I mean, there's so much going on in your area.
There is. It's exciting.
It's a downtown, uptown.
Yep. There's in that 5-block area we have 16 eateries. It's just amazing all the things that are out there.
I know. I happened to stop in Gershon's, and it was like, this place is packed. I mean, the lines were going, and I'm going, this is a Monday. I thought people.
No, I never go up there at noontime to go anywhere near Gershon's because I can't find a place to park.
No, and people are taking the food out for.
Yep.
They're taking
go out.
takeouts, and but I had my Reuben. It was perfect. It was really good. But I mean, other restaurants, you have the Japanese. I love Mr. Wasabi. You know, you've got fast food, the Chinese restaurant. You've got barbecue, or no, you have the burritos. You've got. I'm just trying
Hot
to think.
Harry's,
Yeah, Hot Harry's. There's so many restaurants.
Home style.
Yep, Home
Scotty's.
Style Pizza. They're one of our sponsors for the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
For the 1000th show, along with Gershon's and Dunkin' Donuts as well. So we have a lot of restaurants. You have a lot of little niche stores too, clothing and
Yeah, it's really a great little area.
yeah. So now, when you raise the money for scholarships, who gets that money, or how do you decide who gets it?
Well, let me start from the beginning.
Okay.
This program is close to, I don't know, 12 years old, and it started With just 2 schools. It started with Niskuna High School and Schenectady High School, and we gave $500 scholarships for a few years. Then we added Notre Dame Bishop Gibbons, and still gave $500 scholarships. Well,
so that's $1,500 right there.
Yeah. So as the years have gone by, I think we've given about $25,000 in scholarships. And the way they do it is we work with the guidance counselor, and they write essays. It has to be about business. Because we are a business community.
Yeah,
exactly.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And we have a team that reviews them and makes the recommendation, and then we award the money.
So it's not academic. It's basically based on their, well, the guidance counselor kind of directs who you know, they're not going to, you know, make sure that someone is able to go to college.
Right.
And then they write this essay, and that essay is what kind of nails it down, whether they get that or not. So now you're doing 3 schools. Well, those are the only 3 high schools in that area, right? Because, well, Bishop Gibbons is over on Albany Street, right? And you've got Schenectady High School, and what's the third one? I'm sorry.
Niskuna.
Niskuna, yeah, right.
On Balltown Road, yeah.
That's good. So in raising the money, what kind of support do you get? I mean, would you say you have 30 runners, 100 runners?
Well, we started this a couple of years ago and then stopped for a year, so we're starting again. It's almost like starting from scratch.
I think you canceled last year, didn't you? Or did you?
No, the year
before. Okay,
yeah.
I knew that there was 1 year.
Yeah, one of our partners, their organization dissolved, so we didn't do it that year. But it's not only the run. We also do pony rides. When we have our festival, all the money from the pony rides goes towards the scholarship.
Oh, so you try and, throughout the year, you're looking for little pieces.
Well, we have to raise $3,000 every year.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
It is.
Yeah. Now, so it's just a run? Do you have anything else that goes with that? Is there like...
We do. This year we're putting in a healthy happy hour with all things related to health
good.
And well-being. And that will be in the morning.
And is that open to the public or just to runners?
No, anybody.
Okay, and where was that going to be?
It's going to be where the start is. We're starting right next to Tresco.
Oh, yeah. There's a parking lot there.
There's a parking lot there, and that's where we'll be.
Right.
There's music and...
Now we don't get confused because it used to be 2 Trescos. Remember that for a long time?
Right.
It's like, I never could figure that one out. But anyway, now it's Dunkin' Donuts and Tresco's.
Well, it's because they had a drive-through.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah, at the one where Dunkin' Donuts is now. That was a drive-through. And
okay.
They built one at the other one, so we're all set
so
there.
that was the reason.
That was the reason.
I never could figure out that 1 block apart, 2 banks, the same one.
Yeah.
But now I know. Thank you for solving that. I'm always love a mystery. You know, this is the mystery that I'm solving. So we want to encourage people. Can they still sign up for this?
Oh yes. Again, go to our website, upperunionstreet.com. Go under Harvest Fest and click on Read More, and you'll see a connection to Greenleaf Racing, and that will take you right to the site. You can
they sign up that morning if they decide to show up?
They can. It's $30 that morning if you're going to do it, but if you do it before, it's $25.
Okay. Well, maybe wait till the last minute, give them an extra $5. No, I don't mean that, because you want to know how many are coming.
Well, yes. I have to order the T-shirts.
Oh, that's right. They get T-shirts, too. Well, we want to encourage people to take time to enjoy this. You can come and watch. You can run. You can enjoy the health fair. There's always something going on at Upper Union Street, and I'm always pleased to be able to support them and let our public know what's going on. And it's really a sweet little area to park your car and walk around and go have lunch or poke around, right?
Yes. Look in the flower shop.
Yeah. Maureen Gebhardt is the executive director. We're always pleased to have her on the show, and we'll be talking, I guess, about their tree lighting and their harvest. We got lots of stuff coming up.
We do. It's a busy fall.
Yeah, good. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having us.
We're going to take another quick break, take a look at one of those festivals that are out there. I'm not sure which one. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about the Addy. Good. Got everything in, didn't we?
Yeah.
Mad with anyone. It's not unusual to be sad with anyone. But if I ever find that you've changed at any time, it's not unusual to find that I'm in love with you. Whoa, whoa, oh, 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 oh. Whoa, 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 whoa.
we're back again, and Maureen mentioned to me that this will be said here, that they would love to have volunteers, and they ask that you go to their website because they do need some volunteers that day. If you'd like to spend a little time and enjoy talking with your neighbors, that might be a great way to go. But right now I have Janice Waltz on. Janice is a member of the Proctor's Historical Committee, get that right. We're doing a lot with history today, aren't we?
We are, and I love it. I love the connectedness.
But even though we're talking history, we're really going beyond history right now. We're making history.
Yes, really.
We're making history with the Addy. And we have photographs.
Yes. So the Addy is the new construction. And there was a floor above the second floor, which is all the offices. And Philip had some money from a previous board member, Adeline Graham, which is where they're getting the name, the Addy. I always think it sounds like attic, you know, but the Addy.
Oh, attic, that's interesting. I didn't think of that.
The Addy attic here. But they've had a little bit of money to use, but they weren't sure what would be the best use of this space. And so now they are working on a 100-person theater. Now, if you've come to Proctor's before, there is a smaller theater group called Classical Theater Guild, and they do the classics. You know, they do
usually
Our Town,
and
they usually work in the Fenimore. The Fenimore is a gallery. It's got a lot of glass. It's not actually the best place. So now, possibly, they could move up to the Addy and use that theater space. They're going to also have a whole row of small rooms. These are rehearsal rooms. These are practice rooms. And then they're going to have a large open space that would be multiple uses, flexible. Now, one of the reasons that they can do this is they got additional money from the Empire State Development Funds. Also, they're working with Empire State Youth Orchestra.
They're wonderful.
And you think, okay, they've been around a long time. You know, they have all these orchestras. How are they going to use a smaller space like that? But
they have small
as
groups.
we know, they have. They began 1979. Barry Richmond worked with Lois Lehman, and she was a violinist, very active in the Schenectady Symphony. Eleanor Barnes, again, another active person who understood how important Schenectady and the culture was.
Oh my God.
So they began with just 2 full orchestras. Now they have the orchestras, but they also have a wind ensemble. They have a string ensemble. They have 2 percussion groups. And it's not like those kids are standing still. They perform all over the place. And so again, why do they need rehearsal spaces? Because just like a lot of our theater groups understand, if you don't get kids involved in theater when they're young, you're not going to have an audience. You're not going to have good performers. So the SO, you know, ESYO has decided in 1996 they were working with the middle school kids, and they would do it during the day, giving lessons, very intense, again, building these kids up with confidence and skills so they can move forward and be a musician. And now
they have to audition.
Oh,
it's not just you just get into it. It's
for the main groups, yes. But now, and this is where the Addy will come in those rehearsal spaces, in the open spaces, now, since 2015, they've started to work with the elementary kids. Now this is just working with kids, and these are not kids that necessarily have to audition, but they're
just starting, they're working their way up.
Yeah, as they get into some of the special groups, of course they have to audition and they have to be excellent, because this group has been to Carnegie Hall. We know the Melodies of Christmas. They have been to China.
I was going to say, they've been abroad.
They've been abroad a couple times. So you want the very, very best. But as we know, students, children who are involved in music and theater, the arts, these are students that have to learn discipline. They have to show up and do it, and they have to learn structure. They get a sense, I can do this, and study after study after study shows
that they feel.
It is the accomplishment. It keeps them in school. It gives them a skill that they can use elsewhere in their lives. It is a terrific thing to have students involved in music and art. So here in the Addy, they're going to have a place to do this. And we have some pictures, I think, of the building. Have they been running? So you could see the practice rooms that they were using. There it is, right there. Yeah, so this is kind of, again, this was a couple weeks ago. So this is the beginning of the stage, and then there's a view of the practice room. This is the open stage. Again,
beautiful,
you can
with the
be
windows
really
and
flexible, nicely lit. And again, this is where the audience would be seated, or the stage, however they're going to make those arrangements. And then along the corridor, here's your practice rooms, the rehearsal rooms. And again, this is how you build an audience. This is how you build a future orchestra and future actors. You have to get them trained. And unfortunately, with so many schools cutting the budget for
the arts, they always cut the arts.
And it is so unfortunate because, number one, this allows students that may not be academically oriented a pathway and discipline and structure, all those things that will help them.
Right. I want to just say, we'll get back to your thing, but I do want to tell you who's coming on next week. We have Cap Rep coming on. They're having a production called Sex with Strangers. That sounds interesting. Habitat for Humanity is having their Build-A-Bash. Schenectady Historical Society's Farm to Fork. Schenectady Light Opera is doing cabaret, story circles. This is where all the entertainment's
coming in now. Those are Sex with Strangers too, with cabaret.
And there's a Walk for Rita coming up as well. And I do want to just give a shout out that we are having our 1000th show on September the 19th. Everybody's invited. We're having the Derek Corton and the Stay Street Band. We're having Flame, the band. We're having the Puppet People. Sherry Bellucci will be a folk singer at Clifford. We have Don the Soul Man Hyman. Malcolm Kogut on piano. We have the Adam Marquez Productions, which is Circus. We have Cindy Werner. She's coming as Cher. And we have Once Upon a Farm in Altamont. The Alpacas are coming. We have Greg Idella will be here. He's a comedian, but he's also going to be my co-host. It's going to be a party. We're holding it in the GE Theater. I hope you'll be able to join us Tuesday morning, September the 19th. So getting back to, and I do want to mention all my sponsors. I hope they're running the sponsors on there as well so that you can see who's being our sponsors. But anyway.
Yeah, so theater, Proctor's has been so instrumental. We talked about Cap Rep, working with Proctor's, purchasing, and they have purchased a building.
Yeah, over in Albany.
In Albany, because as we learned a couple months ago, Cap Rep actually has to have a place for the actors to sleep when they come here.
Well,
you know,
they pay for those apartments.
They do. So now they're going to have their own building. So when we think of theater, we think of just a stage, but it is that whole big place, and how can you use a building, and Proctor's Theater is being used well.
It is. And we have Key Bank now. They took over the Key Bank, and
Absolutely.
That's a great space.
Yes.
Too, they had the job fair that kind of spills out into all of that.
Absolutely. They use the space and to support community, to get people together. And just as you were saying about the Schuyler Mansion, the musicians of Malwick show up and do music there.
Absolutely.
So it's all working together in collaboration.
And we are filming right now in the underground, or the Hearst Education Center. They have more names for this area down here. Yeah. But we are relegated to the basement, but we do a great job with the show.
Well, maybe someday we'll be in the attic. Who knows?
We may be in the attic. Who knows? So stay tuned. You never know what you're going to find out on Schenectady Today in and around the Capital Region. I'm Ann Pearl, your host, and Janice Walsh has been my guest.